Hello Mariners fans and welcome to episode 10 of Mariners TV. We're live here from Central Coast Stadium. I'm your host Tristan Scott and I'm again joined by Carly Carmichael. Carly, good to see you again.
Yes, you too. Welcome back. You had the other night off, so
yes.
Hope you enjoyed your family dinner.
I did, yeah, always, and good to be back, and thanks for getting a little sledge in there nice and early.
Right.
We do have a huge show coming up. It's our last home game of the season here at Central Coast Stadium. So for episode 10, Carly, what have we got coming up tonight?
Yeah, so we'll be chatting to Lewis Miller. Noel Arate, our assistant coach, will be joining us as well to talk us through the lineup. We'll be joined also by Tristan Prendergast from the Western Sydney Wanderers. We'll also have a chat to Dan Barrett, who is the head of female performance within the Mariners Academy. We've had some fantastic results over the weekend, so we'll be chatting about that. And we'll also be joined a little bit later by Jordan Murray. We spoke about him in our last episode, just about obviously his shoulder injury, and we'll have a chat to him about, what the update is and what his plans are moving forward.
So huge show, plenty of guests we've got lined up. But I guess first, before we go to our first guest, our last game, very quick turnaround, was the F3 Derby here at Central Coast Stadium. One of the new players that's been performing so well this season was Ziggy Gordon, who picked up some accolades over the last couple of days.
Yeah, definitely. So he was also voted our Macca's Fans Player of the Match. That's a Player of the Match we've been running over the whole season, thanks to McDonald's. He won that by a landslide, which is fantastic to see. He played his heart out. It was good to see that F3 Derby, real fire on the pitch. There was a few little heated moments as well, which is always nice to see.
Yeah, and I think too, there's no coincidence that a fiery redhead is going to get in and start kicking some people during an F3 Derby. So it's great to see him. I guess week in, week out, he seems to be putting in a huge effort. So it's great to see him recognised. Before we hear from him though, if anyone does want to get involved in the voting, you can vote for the Player of the Match every week, including tonight. So just join the Mariners mailing list in order to jump on and vote for the Macca's Fan Player of the Match. But without further ado, let's hear from last week's Fan Player of the Match, Ziggy Gordon.
I think it's a great learning curve for a lot of the boys and the young boys who came on that, football's a 90 minutes game, it's going to be to and fro for large parts of the match, and I think we showed that yesterday. I think Newcastle came into it after about 30 minutes and we managed to hold off, and then as long as you hold off and you stop them having too many chances, you've always got a chance in the game to score and win the game. And I think the last 10 minutes was no doubt we were in the ascendancy and we had a chance to win the game. Personally, it's no different to what I've been used to since I turned pro at 17. Last season I played 43 games and I was very used to playing a Saturday, Tuesday or Saturday, Wednesday. I think the boys, having a young squad, I think is certainly in our favour. And I think come Monday there shouldn't be any excuses, be it fatigue or tiredness, to put out a really good performance. I think every game is life and death. I think if you approach any game bigger or smaller than the next, I think it's a real negative mentality to have. I think we need to go into every game to look at it as it's the most important game. Obviously there's a bit more spite and a bit more fire being a derby game, and we know how much it means to the fans. So I think, without saying, you put in a wee bit more without even knowing, and I think we managed to put in enough effort to thoroughly deserve at least a point.
Great to hear from the Fans Player of the Match there, Ziggy Gordon. It is absolutely freezing here tonight.
It is so cold.
I think he's going to feel right at home, and I'm expecting another big one from Ziggy Gordon tonight. So we look forward to seeing what he comes up with. But before we go into any more chat about the A-League, I guess it's been another start to the season for the academy teams as well, both the men and women. So do you want to provide a bit of an update as to how they're going?
Yeah, definitely. We had a fantastic result for both our men's and women's over the weekend. Undefeated, which is fantastic. We'll throw up and have a look at the men's results here. Our first grade boys, they took on Hills United, who were the last year's champions. So fantastic to see they got a 4-3 win there. Goals by Matt Cahill, Kyle Johnson, Mikey Katsoulis and Harry McCarthy. Our reserve grade also won 4-3 over Hills as well. And then our youth boys took on St George United with, as you can see, everyone got the wins. Under 14's got a 0 or draw, but yeah, undefeated, which is fantastic. And then our women's team, our first grade won 6-0.
Jeez.
So that's fantastic to see, with goals from Iona Snape, Liz Shorter, Danielle Weiss, Gabby Blanche and Kira Bainsfair. Reserve grade also won 4-2, under 17's 3-0, under 15's 9-0, which that would have been an absolutely cracking game to watch, and our under 14's won 4-0 as well. So absolutely fantastic, and that actually brings our women's first grade team to the top of the ladder. We're only two rounds in.
Never too early to be top of the ladder.
And, fantastic goal difference there as well, which is really, really positive to the start of the season.
Yeah, a huge start. And I guess it's no better time now to be joined by our next guest, the head of female performance. Dan Barrett joins us on the line. Dan, we've just been taking a look at some of those results. A hugely positive start to the season. Can you provide the fans at home a bit of an update as to how the start of the season has sort of shaped up for you and the team?
Yeah, Carly, Tyson, how are you? Look, it's got off to a fantastic start. We're extremely happy with, first of all, how the girls looked after themselves in the break that happened obviously in between the start of the season and then returning. So extremely happy with that they went away and did the work. But they've come back in, fantastic attitude. Look, they missed their football and all they wanted to do was get back in and play games, and they're doing fantastically well, all teams.
We spoke to Gabby Blanche a few weeks ago, and she was talking about sort of what the players were doing in the middle of, I guess, the COVID pandemic and how they were managing. What did you and your coaching staff do to make sure you stayed in touch with them and keep them going through that time?
Yeah, look, most of the stuff that we did with our guys was more around injury prevention type work, and also making sure that they keep a level of conditioning. In relation to anything to do with the ball, we really left that up to them. They wanted to go to the mark and get a ball at their feet, but it was making sure that they came back in relatively good nick so we could hit the ground running and mainly get through this new season without any injuries. And they did a really good job there. I was extremely proud of all of them.
Well, one player particularly that we wanted to talk to you about, Dan, is Candice Phelan. Almost 2 years to the day where she unfortunately had that horrific injury. It's been quite a road to recovery for Candice, and I'm sure many Mariners fans would be so happy to see her name back on a team sheet. For those who aren't aware, could you provide a little bit of an update as to what the last couple of years has been like for Candice? Because she had that season there where she scored, I think it was 43 goals in 22 games or something ridiculous. So for those fans at home, I guess, could you provide an update on Candice and, I guess, talk about what it means for you to have her back in your squad?
It means the world to us, not only to have someone of Candice's calibre back playing again, but she's a great girl. She's the type of person that puts others before her. In the whole time that she's been out, she's been involved with our junior academy, coming down and working with them, working with our other coaches, and she's just a fantastic person. But look, she had an absolute stellar season. She was on her way to 50 goals. She won games for us at times, and then sustained a horrific ankle injury, which I think saw her maybe in the end sustain possibly 3 surgeries, I think, on that ankle. And then watching her get through the rehab process and, sort of taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back and whatnot, to get her on the park on the weekend, it was a very, very nice moment. And I was just extremely proud of her and extremely happy that she was able to do so. And she nearly bagged one as well, which was good. So it was good to see her back out there.
I know she actually put a post up on Facebook, which was a really lovely, insight as to, you could just see how much it meant to her to be back on the pitch, and she's fantastic, and we're so happy to see her back out there. And I mean, over the last 2 years, we've seen our women's program just doing so well for football for women's football on the Central Coast. What have you got put in place to sort of keep us rolling and hopefully get into that MPL 1 promotion?
Yeah, look, we're quite young, to be fair. So it's a bit of a juggling act at the moment of, obviously, look, my philosophy is simple in and around that if you take care of the development, then the winning take care of itself. That's always been my belief, and that's the methodology that I've put in place here. So everything that we do is all about improving the individual players themselves, and then obviously getting them back in there and working collectively. And we're finding that, the results are coming, but it's good football. They're playing very, very well, all teams. and progressing and tracking really, really well. Our next job is really just to make sure that we're out there and we're still looking for new talent. You know, we've got a new program, our Junior Reps program, where we've got girls working that program from the ages of 9 to 13, and we work with them now and try and then integrate them into the program the following year in our football teams team. We've got a SAP program where we've got some really good young girls operating in that program as well. So it's also what we do outside of the current academy space that is also vitally important to what we need to do to get to NPL 1.
Well, Dan, before we let you go, I just wanted to ask you one more question, just about women's football in general. Like you mentioned, it's becoming so popular and it's so good to see so many young girls out there playing the game. I guess, what would it mean for particularly some of your younger players, young girls around the country playing football, now that we have a Women's World Cup coming to Australia in 2023? That must have not only been music to your ears, but can you provide an insight as to what this means for not only young girls, but young boys and girls coming through to be able to see the best of the best right here on Australian soil?
Look, I think it's fantastic. A World Cup's a World Cup. I think it's going to be a fantastic occasion for the whole country. For young female players, and we've got a couple in our own academy space that I've said, look, this is something that you can really aspire to. Well, why can't you have a go at trying taking part in that World Cup? To be fair, I think it's going to be an absolutely wonderful occasion for women's football. I think we've taken so many steps in the women's space, and I think that this is going to launch us into a totally different sphere when it comes to the popularity of women's football and longevity, and really embedding women's football with popularity here in Australian cultural sport. But I think it's a fantastic thing to have the World Cup here, and I really can't wait to get out there and you never know, hopefully watch a young Central Coast girl playing for the Matildas.
Well, you did mention, and before we let you go, you did mention that you've got some new programs starting. Just, I guess, for anyone out there who knows any sort of young players that are keen to get involved or take their game to the next level, are they able to get in contact with the club and find out a bit more?
Absolutely. Either contact myself or Academy Director Ken Shembry. We're working really, really hard to spread the net as wide as we can in relation to, nurturing young talent and helping young players, young female players that have got aspirations to play football at the highest level. We're looking for those players to bring them along and hopefully make their dreams come true.
Well, Dan, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your time, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks a lot. See you, Carly.
And as Dan mentioned, all of our contact details for the Academy are on our website, ccmariners.com.au. So if you know someone or have a daughter who may be interested, feel free to jump on and shoot through an email.
And I guess some more big football coming up for the Academy this weekend. Can you provide a bit of an update as to what's happening there?
Yeah. So our senior men are playing at home at Plume Park against Spirit FC, who are quite a good side. So it'll be, a good test for the boys. Unfortunately, while the game technically is open for people to attend, obviously with all the COVID rules at the moment, we are sort of trying to persuade people to maybe just stay at home. However, thankfully, due to Football New South Wales, they've got NPL TV. So it's actually, they're going to be live streaming all NPL 1 and 2 men's games and NPL 1 women's games. So unfortunately, you won't be able to see our NPL girls on there, but you will be able to catch our men's games every single week. On there, you go to npl.tv and you can actually sign up for a membership completely free and you can stream it. Pete Pryor, who was on who filled your shoes last episode, he's actually commentating for them as well.
Oh, great.
You'll be able to hear him, which will be fantastic. And our youth boys are playing away to Mounties, and our senior and youth women will be playing away to Gladesville Ravens. So another really good weekend, and hopefully we get some more good results.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of our academy, I think that we're close to being joined by our next guest, Lewis Miller, who is a young player that's successfully come through the academy as well. So I guess for fans at home, the coolest thing about, I guess, watching NYL, NPL is you go down, you watch, or you follow on NPL TV, and you can watch them come through the ranks. But it's so good, I guess, at this time of year to see players like Lewis coming through the academy.
Yeah, definitely. And I know we spoke to Stadge a little bit earlier this week about our academy players and, the importance of youth within our Mariners squad. So we'll just hear from here shortly.
Yeah, look, of course, hopefully the other night we just showed, as I said the other day, just those few green shoots of the young boys coming on and having an impact in the game. And they're going to be the foundation of this team over the next couple of years. And, a lot of people have complained about some of the youth that have left this club over the years, and looking at people like Matty Miller and Lockie Wales and Bahaja, and the list goes on and on and on. There needs to be a point in time where we just put a stop to all that and start looking after the ones who have either come through our A-League team or through our NYL team, and we protect what we got and really build a solid foundation, and this is the starting point. This year is that starting point, and it's not easy. It's the hard yards that we've had to do as a team and as a club, but I'm sure we'll see the outcomes of all this, and the flourishing of this team as time moves on. Yeah, look, we've played Wanderers already 2 times this year. We know the qualities they've got. They've beaten us both times, so it's a team that we respect. And JP was in charge last time we played him, and coach has been around for a long time. And we know that they've got a lot of weapons. We know that they've got Dukey and Muller up front, and Schwiegler in the middle has been a rock for them. And they've got a good experienced back line, and they're just a good team all round, and as I said, they're fighting for the finals, so it's life and death for them. And we went a long way to nullifying Newcastle's chances the other day, so we know we're in for a real battle this week, as well against Wanderers when they're fighting for that finals position. It's not as if we've started slow deliberately the last 2 matches. Just our quality has really deserted us in that moment. We haven't really worked our way into the game, and then one thing leads to another, and we lose momentum and maybe lose a little bit of belief, and then the consequence is that we start losing important periods of the match, and both Perth and Newcastle were very similar. From the 15th minute to probably the 35th to 40th minutes, we've been pretty poor. With and without the ball, so it's something that we have to try and rectify. And it's shown the good part is, and looking at the positive is that people who have come on have really affected the game. And Nizzy was a great example of that the other night. I thought Tommy Orr did well when he came on. I think Dylan's done well when he's come on. Both games, Simo did well when he came on game 1. So we've really had good impact off the people who have come off the bench. But yeah, the concern is that period, in the middle of the first half when we've tended to lose momentum and real quality on the ball during those periods.
Well, great to hear from Stadge there. Such a short turnaround. Some very hard-working people in the Mariners bubble at the moment.
Yes.
For another big game tonight. But for those coming along to the game, merchandise has been flying off the rack after
I know we talk about it a lot, but we love it.
After Dan's blockbuster of a merchandise video. In all seriousness, though, the merch is going ridiculously cheap. So, Carly, what have you got in store today?
Again, this year's jersey just $30. Normally $100, so that's a massive saving. Lots of kids' jerseys as well, T-shirts. We have uncovered we think we've uncovered some jackets and some tracksuit pants as well. So there will be a limited amount of those available at the game as well, which will be fantastic for conditions like that. It is absolutely freezing. We also have a sale rack. So a lot of previous year's jerseys on there for just $20, which absolute bargain.
Well, I guess as well, it's kind of weird for people to be coming to Central Coast Stadium in a jacket and a beanie because it's usually so hot.
Well, our first game, we had a whole heap of beanies and scarves, and they were the first thing to sell out, whereas normally you just don't wear that to the football in Australia. So, it's interesting times, but, we're getting a really good feedback.
And anyone who isn't at the game tonight, is there a chance for them to, I guess, jump online and make any purchases throughout the week? Yeah,
so our online shop will be launched on Tuesday afternoon. Just obviously going to get through any of the... we opened it up to an exclusive number of members to jump on, and they trialled it for us as well, gave us some feedback just so we could make sure that it was all running smoothly. So we'll be just fulfilling those orders, and then we'll be opening it to the public on Tuesday afternoon. And also with our Mariners Facebook group, that is how you can get these little insights. So if you are a Mariners member and you want to join the Facebook group, send an email to memberships@ccmariners.com.au and we can add you in there. We do a lot of things, we talk about some competitions that are coming up, how you can get involved in our halftime activities on the field. There's heaps to be involved in there, which is really good.
So if you're looking to make a purchase, keep an eye out from Tuesday onwards. Head to ccmariners.com.au. It'll be on all their social media channels as well, so make sure you keep your eye out for the launch or or the relaunch of the Mariners online shop. But I guess for anyone looking to come along to the game tonight, as Carly mentioned, plenty of specials here, so make sure you're getting quick. But if you are coming along, obviously we are in a bit of a difficult situation at the moment in terms of COVID, so there are some things that you definitely need to know before you come to the game, which Carly will be able to fill you in on.
Yeah, so obviously we had a lot of concern from people in regards to travelling supporters from some of the hotspots in Western Sydney. So we've been in lots of talks with the venue about how we can make sure to make that as safe as possible. Legally, we actually can't stop anyone from attending. The only people we can stop from attending is people from a Victorian residence. So we're asking, if you're from one of the hotspot areas, we're just recommending that you're not travelling. That's what we've been doing this whole week. And there will be random ID checks as well. So if you're coming along to the game, make sure you've got your driver's licence or some kind of ID on you. They will be done at random. They're also doing random temperature checks. So just be aware that that could be happening as well tonight. I mean, not sure what kind of crowd we'll get tonight. It is quite cold. Thankfully, the rain is only, it's only drizzling, which is nice. And in regards to the rain, a lot of people concerned about whether their seats will be out in the open. If you have a seat that is not undercover, just have a chat to the VIP staff and also the security. There are particular bays where we can move you to so that you are undercover to make sure you're staying dry tonight.
And it is freezing, so make sure you wear plenty of layers if you are coming along. But I'm not too sure if we have our next guest yet available. But if not, I think we could maybe have a bit of time to watch Dan's video again.
Well, you weren't here for it last week,
No, I wasn't.
so I figure you probably need to relive the moment.
I need to see it.
Dan has, he did make the request on Saturday, I think it was, that he would like to do more of them.
Okay.
So if you do want to see more of Dan's videos, please let us know. If you think that it's not for him, also let us know and we'll give him that feedback. Any ideas what you would like Dan to do? Maybe he can give you a behind-the-scenes tour. Who knows? Who knows what Dan will come up with? But
I'm looking forward to seeing this, actually.
yeah. So we'll head to the video now.
Hi guys, it's Dan the Merch Man. I'm up here on the Northeast Concourse on the stadium, right outside our merch tent. Come and see us, come and pay us a visit before the F3 Derby. We've got up to 70% off all items. Let's go take a look around. We have hats. And different styles. And different colours of different styles. We have jerseys. And more jerseys. And a discount rack. We got stubby coolers and more. So make sure you come and visit us tonight at the F3 Derby and also on Monday night, and keep an eye out for Tuesday next week when we go online. Thanks guys, take care.
Wow.
That's the discount rack. I think that's the part that really just cements it as a really beautiful piece of
Content.
cinematography. Yeah.
I think he's found his calling. So if there's any sponsors out there that want to acquire Dan's services to help them sell things that they can't sell, I think the guy
I suppose
could.
that's why we've moved him into commercial. So he's got a very good salesman job. So he's been doing really good at that. So.
Absolutely. But I guess before we get into our next guest, like we were mentioning before, plenty of young kids getting a shot on the pitch over the past few weeks. As someone that works in the office, I know with the bubble situation, there's obviously no real interaction with players. But for someone like yourself who's spent years watching NYL, NPL, it must be great to see some of these young kids coming through the ranks.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so exciting when they, you see them out there playing with NP and NYL, and then the excitement when they come into the office to sign their contract or take their signing photos. Like, it's just fantastic, and you really just hope that that energy, it just makes everyone else in the office feel excited for them as well, and it just spreads throughout all the young boys, and it gives everyone else that little, that hope that that could be me. If I keep working hard, that'll be me next.
Yeah, well, I think my favourite moment was I remember when Josh Nisbet got offered his first senior contract, and he was doing a shift at Woolworths at the time, and he saw he checked his phone during his shift and saw that there was a missed call from the Mariners. He had to ask his boss if he could duck out the back, and he made the call, and they offered him the contract. He had to leave his job at Woolies, and I remember saying to him, you're a professional footballer now, you're going to quit Woolies, and he was like, oh no, I think I'm going to stay around helping with some shifts. So I mean, these guys are real people.
Yeah.
You know, everyone thinks that footballers are, you know, millionaires, but they're not. They're just real people, and especially when you see those young kids get a shot, it really is something special.
Oh, maybe we should bring in Woolworths as a sponsor for our young boys.
Well, Woolworths, if you're listening, we'll send Dan out there and help you sell whatever you want him to sell.
He'll make you a great promo video.
But speaking of exciting young players, we're very lucky to be joined by one of the ones coming through the ranks at the moment in Lewis Miller. Lewis, first and foremost, mate, we'll kick off on a very light note. You may have heard that your roommate, Gianni Stensnes, threw you on the bus when we had him on a few weeks ago. This is your opportunity. Do you have any dirt on Gianni, your housemate, who seemed to talk himself up and maybe have some questionable things to say about you?
Look, as much as I want to, I've been trying to figure out something. But, no, he actually is kind of like the father figure. But, no, he's pretty good. He keeps everything tidy. But I literally can't pin him down. I'm trying to, but nothing comes to my head.
You and a lot of the other young boys have made a fantastic impact in the last few matches, Alou, Nizzy. Can you give us a bit of an insight as to what it's like to be a young player, you know, coming up from NPL, NYL and making your debut in the A-League?
Look, when you get given the opportunity, which Dad has given many of us, all you want to do is get out there and give it your best. And look, Nizzy, Alou, like you said, the second they've been on the pitch, they've given 100%. You can tell the effort. They're dying, like they're struggling to play 90 because they're giving it all they got. They're leaving everything out on the pitch, and that's all you can do, as well as in the stage tactics and just hopefully the youth and, like I said, players of our age, youngsters, can liven the game up a bit more when we get on.
Lewis, I guess we saw a bit of a snapshot of Alou's personality in that post-match interview that went viral. He seems like a bit of a character. Is what you see is what you get on camera?
What you see is what you get with Alou. He's straight up with everyone. He's a top guy to be around. He's a great spirit to have in the change room.
It's been a bit of a breakout year for you. You've played 16 games. Stadgers are showing some faith in you. Have you found the season so far?
Oh, look, I was loving it. I think that I was taking my opportunity quite well. I was playing quite consistently while I was continuing to get the starts. Unfortunately, now I'm injured at the moment, which is a little bit of a setback. But no, I've loved every moment of it, and that's all I want to do. Play for this club, get the wins, make the fans happy.
And I guess two more questions for you, mate. You mentioned the injury there. Can you provide the fans a bit of an update as to what injury you're carrying and sort of the road to recovery over the past few weeks?
Just before training, I was doing extras at the football grounds in Erina, and I've absolutely tweaked my groin, which I thought would only be 2 weeks or so, but it's extended a bit further to a month. It's a very slow process because you don't want to push anything, especially now into the end of the season. We want to have me to be fresh for the next season, upcoming seasons. So I'll just got to keep working hard. Obviously, I'm included in the squad tonight, which is always a positive, and hopefully I can get on because I'm feeling like I'm ready to play again.
Well, it's good to see you back on a team sheet, mate. And lastly, before we let you go, another talking point that has come up over the last couple of weeks was that haircut you came back with post-COVID.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through either the inspiration, how this came about, and was it what you were expecting?
I always have a talking point about me, don't I? My first one, my hair was dyed blonde.
Yeah.
Just on the top, very patchy, terrible job.
Bit of a top deck feel?
Yeah, it was terrible. And then I was like, you know what, I'll let it grow out. But then I was like, you know what, I'm going to dye it back. And as you can see now, it is now black. And my hair is brown. So I have not been successful in the hair department, but well, hopefully I'm not touching it from now on. I'm just going to let it grow out.
We may have to get you a personal barber sponsorship or something,
yes, please.
just to make sure that we don't have any more of those incidents.
Yes, please.
Well, Lewis, I think in the coming weeks, if Carly and I are unable to host Mariners TV, I think you and Alou might have to step in because I think you do a fantastic job.
That'll be a lot of enthusiasm there. Jeez.
But Lewis, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see that you will be back on a team sheet tonight. All the best, mate, and we look forward to seeing you back out on the pitch.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lewis. I guess as we were talking about, it's really good for the league and for the club to see so many young players coming through with so much personality.
Yeah, he's fantastic, and it's just the gift that keeps on giving, really, when you chat to him.
Yeah, but yeah, speaking of young players, our next guest that's just getting mic'd up at the moment is Jordan Murray. Obviously, a bit of a tough situation for him, and we look forward to hearing from him in the next couple of minutes. But for him, I guess, what is it about Jordan Murray you think that has made him become such a fan favourite? Fans just seem to have really sort of drawn to him since joining 2 years ago.
He just loves football. Like, you talk to him and he lives and breathes it, and it is just the most enjoyable thing for him. And he loves, he's fantastic with kids. I know I've said it before, my little boy absolutely idolises him and he's 3, he doesn't really quite understand what's going on in football, but the fact that, he's taken the time out to sort of say hello, get to know them a little bit, and, it's the same kids you see on the sideline at the end of the game out in the fence, and he's there, he's shaking hands, and, he's just so down to earth, and, he's got that fantastic story coming through NPL as well, top goal scorer when he was playing with Apia, like, he's just so, so down to earth, and he's just excited to be, he's loving it.
Yeah, I remember when I met Muzz for the first time, actually, I was talking to him. He went down and did, I don't even remember, he did the A-League shoot.
Yes.
He was 2 years ago. And I was talking to him and I said, a lot of players, don't really enjoy that type of thing because it's, takes time out of their day. But I remember he came back because he's a former Sparky. And I said, how'd the shoot go? And he said, look, it was really good. Usually, they'd be, bring him into those rooms to, change a light bulb or something. But next thing I'm standing next to, to Castro and all of these players that I've watched on TV. And all of a sudden I'm there going to be playing against him every week. So you get those little snapshots from real people that get their chance, which is fantastic to see.
I mean, even with that shoot, he wasn't actually scheduled to go to that. He was actually filling in for someone who was unavailable, and we asked him to go along, and he was just dropped everything that he had, and he was so keen to do it, wanted to know where he had to be, what he had to do, and like he said, came back and was just absolutely loving the experience. And that enthusiasm is just, it's
a breath of fresh air,
It's electric. That's kind of a bit lame considering the whole Sparky thing. But anyway.
We've got Muzz here now. Other than the off-pitch exploits we were talking about, he's been an absolute sensation on the pitch as well. Muzz, firstly, thank you for joining us. On behalf of all of the fans, everyone at the club, we just wanted to pass on our best wishes to you, mate, and hope that you recover as soon as possible, mate, because we can't wait to see you back out on the pitch. First and foremost, could you provide an update to the fans as to where you're at with your shoulder and sort of what it all sort of looks like for you at the moment, mate?
Hey, Tristan and Carly. Just trying to do a bit of rehab at the moment. Trying to get it moving and try to stop the swelling to go down because it's still quite swollen and very stiff. But been talking to a couple of surgeons and just waiting to see a bit more data and a bit more results after this next MRI, and then we'll go from there. So it's a bit of it's a bit unsure at the moment, but hopefully in the next week or most likely a week, we'll know exactly what's going on.
You signed with the club in 2018. You've been going from strength to strength. How can you describe your time at the Mariners so far?
I've absolutely loved it. A lot of people have asked me this question over the last 2 years I've been here, and I usually say the same thing, and it's everything that I've ever wanted. You could say that to any young kid in the team, any player really. When you train every day, play the game every weekend, and you dream about it. When it comes to reality, you sort of get a little bit overwhelmed by it, and that overwhelm still hasn't gone down yet, and I still have to pinch myself sometimes to realise that I'm a professional footballer and doing what I love. So to be doing what I love, it's incredible. And I know all the young boys in every team in every country would say the same thing.
And Jordan, go.
I was going to say, is there anything I guess you've learnt along the way in those 2 years?
I've learnt a lot mentally, physically. I've learnt a real load. It's obviously players with such as Matt Simon, Tommy Orr, Mikey McGlinchey, teaching things on the park, and having the gaffer and all the background staff as well, sort of teaching you the mental side, but also tactically. It's I've learnt a lot over my 2 years of being here, and it's been a roller coaster, but it's been great.
And off the pitch, as we were talking about before you joined us, you've become a real fan favourite in those couple of years. For you, I guess, we see many photos with you, with the fans, on the fence line. So I guess, could you provide a bit of an insight as to, I'm sure the fans make those moments even sweeter, but also offer, great amounts of support when things aren't going so good. How have you found the fans here on the Central Coast?
Absolutely terrific. I probably know firsthand because I was a supporter, before 2 years ago. So I know what it's like when people come up to you and they make you feel special, and you pay your money to come watch the players. So it's not that you expect anything, but having heart and the I guess the heart for the club, it's a big thing, and showing that you love the club, you love the fans, and you put all your effort into it. That's what they really want, and I knew that. That's when I was a fan. That's what I really wanted from the players. So if I can give that back to the fans, it's great. So.
And you previously were living the lifestyle out on the coast on Terrigal, but you've made a bit of a change to farm life. How's that been going for you?
It's been going great. So me and my girlfriend have moved out to a nice little cottage out at Yarramalong. It's beautiful. It's nice and quiet. A lot of animals. It's different, and it's sort of clears the headspace a bit. So it's nice to go to training with a clear head and do your work and progress day by day, and then come home and probably milk a few cows to get some milk for the week. But no, it's great. It's a different lifestyle, and I'd recommend it to anyone that wants to have a lifestyle change.
Sounds amazing, mate. I think we'll have to come out and visit.
Yeah, definitely.
But before we let you go as well, too, just a non-Mariners related question. Obviously, you came through the NPL ranks. That all kicks off again soon. Is that a competition that you still keep an eye on? You obviously most recently were at RPL Leichhardt, but is that a competition that you'll continue to watch once the season kicks back off?
Oh, definitely. That's the league that I sort of progressed into what I am today, and I've made really good friends not only just at RPL Leichhardt, but at almost every team in the NPL. So I'm regularly in touch with my old teammates and other players, and so I definitely say that I would be watching the NPL for a long time and keeping in touch with everyone.
Well, Jordan, thank you so much for joining us, mate. And like I said at the start, we wish you all the best in your recovery, and we look forward to seeing you back out on the pitch ASAP.
Thanks, Dice. I appreciate it. Thanks, Carly.
Thank you.
I guess just hearing from him, you can sort of see straight away he's a real person, and I think that's what really draw people to him.
I think we need to get a video of him milking cows and feeding the sheep and seeing what I can't imagine. So it sounds fantastic. Like I said, he's just got this personality, and it's just everyone catches it. It's great.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I'm not too sure. Do we have the lineups ready to go yet? Okay,
yes.
cool.
So we've got our Mariners lineup, which we will go through. Should pop up on the screen for everyone at home.
Okay, so we'll go through the Mariners lineup first and foremost. So starting in goals again, we've got Mark Birighitti. Ziggy Gordon again, obviously last week's man of the match, is back in there not alongside, but with Milan Duric as well. Tommy Orr, Kai Rolls, Dylan Fox, Sammy Silvera, Gianni Stensness, and I guess probably the headline of the lineup is we've got Matty Simon back into the starting lineup with the captain's armband, which is fantastic to see.
Yes.
Rounded out by two youngsters in Josh Nisbet and Dylan Ruiz-Diaz. So we spoke about the young players before, but it's good to see again with 2 games to go that Stadge is going to give a shot to some more young players.
Yeah, of course. And I think with Nizzy and Dylan coming off the bench last week, fantastic to see them in the starting 11. So I'm sure they'll be putting 100% in, which will be really, really exciting to see.
Absolutely, and I guess it's going to be great to hear from, we're going to be joined by assistant coach Naz a little bit later. It'll be great to hear from him, to a bit of an insight as to the selections. Obviously, Matt Simon back into the starting lineup. I guess someone that, for me, I guess, if you're a Wanderers player and you're looking at that team sheet and you see, as soon as you see Matt Simon, you know you're going to be in for a tough night. Especially on a night like tonight, I think it's going to be a great game.
And I'm sure he was unfortunately had a slight injury for the F3 derby, so wasn't included. So I'm sure he was sitting watching the game, just wishing he was out there, because I know he does love a game against the Newcastle Jets.
Absolutely.
So hopefully that ignition will come on and get the 3 points over the Wanderers with him.
Yeah,
So.
and we spoke about the NPL a little bit before. Obviously, we've got the Mariners Academy in the NPL too. Jordan Murray coming through NPL. In a little while, actually, we're going to be lucky enough to join by Tristan Prendergast, from the Western Sydney Wanderers, another player that's come through the academy ranks. So I guess it's good to see the NPL kicking back off soon as well.
Yeah, starts NPL 1 starting this weekend, which is, they had a couple of rounds early on in the year, but unfortunately got cut short due to coronavirus. But yeah, good to see that it's all kicking back off again. A bit of a different, we've had some teams obviously pulled out. Wanderers have moved up into NPL 1 as well. So different look there, but yeah, it'll be exciting to see what happens.
And whilst we're waiting to be joined by that next guest, I guess it's probably a really good time to talk about our last game of the season against Melbourne Victory.
Yes.
I did hear Sean, Dave, yourself talking a little bit earlier about potentially taking the show to a pub or maybe having a few beers to watch that game. Where are they playing their last game, and I guess what can we expect from Mariners TV? Maybe.
Yeah, so it'll actually be an away game to Melbourne Victory, obviously not in Melbourne. It'll be held at Jubilee. So at this stage, there's no ticketing information, so we're going to go with the assumption that it's going to be closed. However, we will be taking Mariners TV on the road. We're not quite sure where yet. We do know that there will probably be some beers involved. We're going to try and get some fans along as well. We want to make sure that it's a really interactive episode, and that people can be sitting there. They can sledge us if they like.
Yep.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there with things to say. So instead of doing it on Facebook, they can do it to faces. So we're going to take it out on the road. We will be releasing some more information about that shortly. There will be limited capacity, so once we've got all the information locked in, we'll let everyone know. So it will be a case of you'll need to book in to get your seat. I'm sure everyone's just going to be, knocking down the door to get in to see us live.
Well, I think it's going to be a big one by the sounds of things. I mean, it could be a Mad Monday edition. It's the last game of the season.
I like that idea.
I'm sure there's, like you said, some fans that want to blow some steam off and have a few beers. So yeah, make sure you keep an eye on the Mariners social channels. I think that we're about to be joined by our next guest.
Yes, I was just going to say we've got a Wanderers lineup. I do have it on my phone, so apologies for reading that out. Tyson, if you want to run through that one.
Sure.
Sorry, my eyes are really bad.
I can't quite see that actually, so we might.
We might wait for the.
Wait for the team sheet to come through. But do we have our next guest ready to join us? Yes.
Yep.
Did you want to introduce our next guest, Carly?
Yes. So joining us from Western Sydney Wanderers is Tristan Prendergast, who has recently been signed from the NPL. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Tristan, mate, I guess a very, very unique return to A-League life for you. Obviously, signing and then the league suspending. Firstly, I guess, like Carly mentioned, congratulations for making a return to the A-League environment. Can you talk us through what the last few months has been like for you, obviously going into isolation, signing with the Wanderers? It must have been a very unique couple of months for you.
Yeah, it's been a bit crazy the last few months, to be honest with you. I mean, I signed with the Wanderers for 4 days, essentially. Sat on the bench for the derby, and then the COVID struck, so the league was cancelled. So that didn't last too long. Fortunately for me, I went back to work, so that sort of kept me busy and occupied over the 3 months before getting the call up to come back in.
And so it's the first game back for Western Sydney Wanderers. What's the message been from the coaching staff heading into the final stage of the season?
We just want to go out there together, play the type of football that we know we can play, and hopefully get the results to get us into that top 6. That's the biggest goal for the club at the minute.
Well, you mentioned that you were, I guess, lucky enough to be able to go back to work during that shutdown. For the fans at home that aren't aware of your journey, could you provide a bit of an insight as to how you've sort of ended up at the Wanderers and sort of where you played before joining the Western Sydney Wanderers?
So I came to Sydney around 2013. I played for the Sydney FC youth team. After that, I was at Bonnyrigg in the NPL, and then I made the move to Blacktown City, which I've been there for, I think this was my 6th season there. And then from there, I got the call up from Davide and the Wanderers, and I've come across and hoping to put my best foot forward for the team.
And we know that you're quite close with former Mariners staff member Joey Gibbs. He's overseas at the moment, banging in goals over in Iceland. Must be great to see his progress overseas.
Yeah, it's quality. I mean, Joey and I have been quite close. We signed at Blacktown at the same time. We lived together for a bit for a couple of years there, so him and I are quite good mates, and it's great to see him overseas banging in goals. I mean, I see every second day nearly he's putting up some video on Instagram of him scoring, but it's good to see Australians doing well overseas and representing country well.
Well, Tristan, we've just got some breaking news in. It's probably not breaking news to you, but it is to us. We need to congratulate you because you're going to earn your A-League debut tonight. I'm sure that was something you're already aware of, but firstly, congratulations. How do you feel? How did you find out? And I guess you must be thrilled to be making that tonight.
Yeah, I'm buzzing. I can't wait. I sort of had an idea probably a few weeks ago that I'd be in line to start. But I'm feeling good now, feeling confident. We were lucky enough we had the two pre-season games. I got 90 minutes under my belt, which is great for me to get used to the boys and how the team plays. So now I'm feeling confident and I'm ready to go.
And just lastly, before we let you go, I guess you've come so close so many times. You mentioned that you're in the Sydney FC youth team. You had the period with Sydney FC leading into their pre-season trip to Cairns. You're now going to have that moment to make that debut. How does that make you feel?
I'm proud just to have this opportunity and to show what players from the NPL can do. I mean, there's plenty of us out there that given this opportunity could put their foot forward. So I'm happy and lucky it's me, and I can't wait to get out there.
Well, Tristan, we won't keep you any longer, mate. Again, congratulations, all the best tonight, and we look forward to seeing your career progress from here.
Awesome, thanks guys, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
What a great moment. I'm glad that we got that news in whilst we were talking to him.
Fantastic. Just got the text message through then, so that's amazing for him. And I guess it's one of those, you've got to try and see the silver linings in moments like, the pandemic, that it now does actually give these opportunities to young players to make their debuts. It's really good to see.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of the debut, Carly, I think we're about to get the Wanderers lineup. So if you wouldn't mind talking us through how they look tonight, if you can,
if I can
read
see it from here, because I've got really terrible eyes. I'm going... Don't mind me. So we've got in goals Tristan Prendergast, who we just spoke with, also following up with McGowan, Georgievski, Matt German, Mitchell Duke, former Mariner there. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of Mariners fans who will love to see his face. Let's just hope he doesn't score too many goals or none at all.
None would be great.
O'Doherty, Muller, Bacchus, Russell, Ziegler and Adam will be starting for the Wanderers this evening.
So it's a strong lineup there. It's one of those things that with all of the sporting codes at the moment, this is also must be mentioned that Wanderers' first game back out of isolation as well. So it's one of those things we don't know whether they're going to come out firing or whether I mean like me, I've just been eating and drinking during quarantine. So hopefully they've been doing that.
Yeah, it's very
the past couple of months.
I actually didn't even realise that it was the Wanderers' first game because you're watching. Obviously we've had quite a few. Wellington, they've been playing quite a few as well. Then you just forget that, the Melbourne teams are only just starting as well. So, really excited to see what will be happening out there tonight.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be great actually to talk through the Mariners lineup and some insights with assistant coach Noel Arate, who is miking up to join us at the moment. We're just waiting for him to join. But, I guess, plenty of storylines out there tonight. We've got debutants, we've got young players playing for the Mariners. It's freezing cold.
It is so cold. I'm sorry, I can't stop moving because my hands are frozen.
So we really don't know what we're going to get tonight. So, I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to the game. The Wanderers have always been a team that we've had such behind the Jets and Sydney FC. I mean, for me, that's right up there as one of the biggest rivalries for the Mariners. I guess, what are some of your fondest moments? I mean, they've only been in the comp since 2012, but we've had some amazing games against the Wanderers over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go past the grand final. I know we talk about it all the time, but as someone who was there in the stands, and it was just, especially after you've had so many grand final opportunities, and unfortunately came in second best in those, to actually get that one, it's always going to hold that special place in, I think, all Mariners' hearts, that you're always going to hold that over the Wanderers that we beat them. I mean, it's fantastic for them to make the grand final in their first season. Like, for them, that's a huge effort. So, can't go past the grand final.
Yeah,
and I think Danny McBreen's goal celebration is just the one thing that always sticks in my mind.
In your mind. And I think the first sort of things that pop to my mind when I think about Wanderers games here at Gosford is this whole stand here, I guess, for those first few games. Obviously, life pre-COVID kind of feels like a bit of a lifetime ago, but, I mean, it was almost like a mini World Cup. You'd have from here all the way down to the end here in red and black.
And it was loud.
They would travel in numbers. It was loud. You'd go to Pertex Stadium. It would be the same there with Mariners fans and Wanderers fans. So hopefully, I guess, once we get through the madness that is COVID at the moment, we can get back to having some of those games now down at Bank West and here at Central Coast Stadium.
I mean, Bank West is such a fantastic stadium as well. If you haven't had an opportunity to head there, once everything is sort of back to normality, make sure you do head down because it's a really great stadium. It's great for watching football. So I even know I went and watched the NPL1 grand final there. So it's not even that many. There wasn't even that many people there, but it was still a really fantastic atmosphere. So it was fantastic.
It is a great venue to watch football, right up there with Central Coast Stadium as one of the best in the country.
You cannot go past this beautiful view. We can't see the palm trees tonight, but they're looking in all their glory.
Couldn't agree more. And I think we have on the other line now assistant coach ready to join us in Naz. Naz, if you can hear us, we've just got the lineup here news which we're going through. Great to see Maddie Simon back there with the captain's armband. Can you talk us through the team tonight?
Yeah, obviously we played on Friday with a short turnaround. There's a couple of boys that are carrying a bit of fatigue, and obviously these players per match are doing close to 12 Ks or some a little bit more, and close to over 1,000 metres of high-speed running. So we've had to make a couple of changes with young Dylan Rees-Diaz getting the opportunity to start his first A-League game today. So, but overall, our shape will be the same as what we be playing recently. So 4-2-2.
Beautiful. We saw some really positive signs with 2 games back into the restart. What's the message been to the players tonight?
Oh, look, the message is consistent from our end. Obviously, we want to be in a position during the game to give ourselves the best opportunity to win, and we've got to make sure that we keep the ball a bit better than Friday. The effort was there. Defensively, we did well. However, we just need to keep the ball a lot better. Obviously, the conditions are going to play a part tonight, but no excuses from our end. I think if we've got the quality on the park, and with Nisbet as well starting, who did well when he came on, the young boys especially, and obviously with the guidance of Maddie Simon, should give us a lot of confidence.
You mentioned Maddie Simon. We spoke about him earlier in the show. I guess if you're any away team and you look at a team sheet, you see Maddie Simon's name on there, you're going to be in for a tough night, especially as a defender. What does someone like him give you coming back into a starting lineup against a team like the Wanderers?
Oh, look, definitely a lot of experience. He's our most experienced player. He's the heart and soul of the Central Coast. He's been at the club, obviously, had his spell at Sydney FC, but he's born and bred here, and every game he plays, he wants to give it his all, and he bleeds for the jersey. So, if we, as a player and as a person, that's what he's going to give you. So, from that perspective, I think it gives us an opportunity for him to guide our younger players around on the park, and obviously we're coming up against a lot of experience with the McGowans and Matty German and Mitchell Duke and these boys and Muller. So, just having him out there and hopefully guiding our young ones around.
And speaking of young players, obviously we've seen a lot of them, out on the pitch the last couple of weeks, especially with big characters such as Alo. How is that? Must have created quite a buzz around the training ground.
Yeah, look, obviously he's always created a buzz from day one. He's a unique kid, and obviously he's embracing the opportunity to play first team football, and you can just feed off his energy. Obviously it's his first A-League start on Friday, and with a short turnaround for him, obviously he's felt it a little bit physically, but look, he's a ball of energy. He comes up with some really interesting things, as you saw the other day, but look, obviously it's great to have the likes of himself around, and obviously, look, we keep talking about the boys that are starting, but the likes of Kai Rolls and even Danny De Silva, the 98 born, Gianni and Niz, the 99 borns, Dylan Rees-Diaz 2001, Sammy Silvera 2000, Lewis Miller 2000. So it's, I suppose if you look at it from that perspective, the future is bright, but at the same time, we've got to win games, and that's a big responsibility that the boys and we have as a coaching staff as well.
Well, speaking of young players and getting results, I guess one player who you mentioned that could be key tonight is Josh Nisbet, who's been playing fantastically well. I guess someone like him with the style that he plays, he can turn quite quickly. It's quite greasy out there. What does a player like Josh Nisbet, I guess, add to your lineup, and how have the coaching staff assessed his performance this season?
He's come out. Obviously he's the smallest player in the league, and he's up against it week in, week out, whether it's at training or in games, and that shows the heart and the character and the resilience of the player to back up week in, week out. And he hasn't been a regular; he's been in and out of the squad, but he's just persevered and he's worked his backside off every session, in every game that he's come on or started. He's given us everything that he can. So. Look, he's, again, in a different sort of way, gives us a lot of energy as well in the middle of the park, and a very, very difficult player to mark. And to be honest, I'll hate to play against him, because once he's changed his direction, it's very, very difficult to contend.
2 games left to go, Wanderers tonight and then Melbourne Victory next week. How important is it to be finishing the season strong?
Oh, it's paramount to, obviously, the table doesn't lie, and unfortunately, it's not where we wanted to finish, but I think these are the games that define you as people, and then your character, because it's very easy to chuck in the towel, and we could have chucked it in when we hadn't picked up a point in 11 or so games. So we just got to keep going. We've got to keep believing, and it's difficult, and I understand for the club, for the fans, even for the players mentally. It's not an easy situation to be in, but I think we're going out there every session, trying and working as hard as we can to make sure we restore some pride within the club, the fans, and obviously it'll be a massive confidence boost for the players as well.
Well, Naz, thank you again for joining us on game day. We really appreciate it, and all the best for the last 2 games.
No, thank you. Appreciate the support.
Thank you and good luck.
So yeah, I guess before we wrap the show up, there was a couple of things you mentioned during the show that I just wanted to finish up on. You mentioned that there could be potentially a fan event for the last episode of Mariners TV. So do you want to provide a bit more info on what fans can expect there?
Yeah, so nothing has actually been locked in as yet, but do keep an eye out. We will be keeping everyone updated. We will be looking to take it out on the road, probably a pub somewhere, get some live audience happening, which will be really good. So if there's anything you want to see, you want us to talk about, we'll probably have a bloopers reel, because, there's only 10 episodes, but there's a lot of bloopers. As well as, we might even... we've done a lot of videos with the boys over the season. There might be a couple of bloopers reels that we can show from them too, which will be fantastic when they're doing their promo videos and things like that.
Well, I look forward to our Mad Monday edition in a week's time, so keep an eye out for that. But for now, I guess, the main event's coming up. We've got Mariners versus Wanderers here from Central Coast Stadium. So make sure you tune in, KO, Fox Sports, anywhere else you usually watch the game. Thank you for joining us again, and we'll see you in a week's time.